Erskine and I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to cook with eggs every day with some meals in minutes. I'm going to show you Australian Eggs Benedict with a really snazzy cheat hollandaise. Now, the cheat comes into the fact that we are not going to be using clarified butter to make this, and I'm going to be doing quite a nifty method. I'm going to crack 2 egg yolks into a bain-marie. So I've got a saucepan with boiling water in that's had a mixing bowl on top of it. And what this does is it means we can cook the egg yolks without cooking them out too much and letting them scramble. To that, I'm just going to add a splash of white wine vinegar, which just adds a bit of seasoning at the beginning, and then a pinch of sea salt. We're just going to give that a little bit of a whisk to get that started and put that back on the bain-marie. You'll see that the eggs start off quite thin, and the more you whisk and the more they cook, they suddenly start to get really creamy. You can take these off the heat when they have gone almost like a sort of foamy custard, and that's done the majority of the cooking. Then I've got my ice cold cubes of butter and I'm going to gradually whisk them in. Now I don't want to add this butter in too quickly because otherwise it won't emulsify, and we're actually making an emulsion sauce here by adding fat to the egg yolk, so it's really important you do this gradually to begin with. Now you'll see that I'm sort of taking the bowl off and on the heat, and what that is because I don't want the butter to get too hot because otherwise it will split, but I need to have it hot enough that the actual rest of the butter is going to melt into it. So it's about regulating the heat. There we have a perfect hollandaise, and you kind of want that to be the consistency of light mayonnaise, all right? So I'm happy with the salt. I'm just going to go for some cayenne pepper, because that's going to give it a bit of backbone. And then some lemon. It definitely needs some acidity, so just a squeeze of that. And that's perfect. So the rest of the dish, we've got some English muffins, which we're going to toast. So just pop these in a toaster for however long you like them toasted. And then you can get on with poaching your eggs. So I'm going to show you a few tricks to make sure that you don't mess it up. Now, the first rule is to have your water sort of boiling, so you're getting some bubbles in there, but that it's not at a rolling boil. You also need to season your water with some salt and a bit of white wine vinegar. When you're in a supermarket, make sure you look for the lion stamp, which will indicate that the eggs have been produced to the highest safety standard. The next trick would be to put your eggs into a separate vessel rather than trying to crack them in separately. This gives you a bit more control over what you're doing, so just a bit of a personal preference for me. You need to use as fresher eggs as possible. If your eggs are a little bit older, then the whites can be a bit runny, which makes them much harder to poach. Then with a slotted spoon, I'm going to create like a whirlpool. Now most people would think to pop their eggs into the centre of that whirlpool now, but I'm going to let it settle for a couple of seconds and then just pop it in. Then all you need to do is let them settle there for about sort of 2 to 3 minutes until the egg has sealed on the outside, and you can give it a squidge and it's nice and sort of squishy in the middle, meaning that that yolk is still nice and gooey. So I'm just going to scoop this out with a slotted spoon, and you can see the egg sort of sounds really proud and upright, and you give it a squish but where the yolk is, and it's still sort of giving slightly. And now you just need to drain that on some kitchen paper. What do you get on with your next one? Well, the last egg is cooking. I'm going to get on with constructing the dish. I've got my toasted muffins. You could use butter at this point, but I'm not going to because I'm going to save a few calories because we're using the hollandaise later on. I've got some ham, and I'm using some carved deli ham, but you can use whatever you like, whatever your favourite is, but I just think this is a bit more of a treat. Now it's a slice per actual muffin, and just fold them, make them look really pretty on there. Now to that, and this is the Australian twist, so we're going to put on some avocado, which has to be one of my favourite breakfast ingredients. Looking for something that's quite ripe, but it's still holding its shape. You don't want it to be too mushy necessarily. I'm just going to really sort of thinly slice this. And then a vine ripened tomato, and you just cut that into slices. All we're missing now is our eggs, so I'm going to pop those on top. And then our delicious hollandaise sauce. I'm just going to pour a spoon over this. So here's my Australian eggs Benedict with tomatoes and my cheese hollandaise. For more of my recipes, go to eggrecipes.co.uk/mealsinminutes.